Hey everyone, Josh, nftbroo here, and today we have Jase, who has come to have a chat. I'm going to try and interview some people from the community, Fluff ecosystem, and wider, just to understand how they got into this space and what life may look like for them. So welcome, Jase.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Thanks for the invite. It's great to be here.
So tell me a bit about your background.
Yeah, so currently I work in the healthcare industry. So I manage New Zealand. We sell medical devices to pharmacies and hospitals. So it's I've been in this industry for about 13 years now. But yeah, back before that, I worked in the supermarket industry to own my own supermarket. I did the management course. Of course, I was young in my early 20s. Worked in the wine department, got offered a job in the wine industry. Had to take that. It's Montana Wines, Pernod Ricard. So that was pre-recession. It was great times, a lot of fun. I'm very social. Did that for about 8 years. And so then, yeah, after that, worked for actually another company for about a year. It's called Nutrient Water. That's insolvent now. And now I'm here. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and I really enjoy it.
Ooh, there's a few different industries and probably a lot of different experiences and skills picked up on the way. And then,
From
so
booze to
how did,
health, it's a bit of a change.
yeah, yeah. When did you end up in crypto and NFTs?
Yeah, so the funny thing is, with I accidentally got into Bitcoin many years ago. So I've always been interested into investing in different things, tried different things over the years, and so buying and trading domain names was one of my things. I still do a little bit every now and then, but not as much. But I had a domain name called accountanthub.com. It's no longer registered, but I think back, mentioned to you before, I think, I can't remember if it's 2012 or 14, but I sold it for a Bitcoin. Back then, the value was around about, I think, $300. It wasn't much, but when you register a domain name for like $10, and someone offered that to me, I thought, why not? And so once I held the Bitcoin, didn't do much with it, but he went down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. So I started learning about the financial, the financial sort of like system and how money works, and the reasons why you want to have that sort of financial freedom. So yeah, I went down that rabbit hole for quite some time.
Yeah, that's such a unique way to get into the crypto rabbit hole, really, isn't it? Just
Yeah,
someone offering you a Bitcoin. You're like, what even is this thing? Yeah.
yeah.
So what what were some of the kind of the highlights and the journeys of being in the crypto space?
One of the highlights is I was around in 2017. So nothing, you couldn't do anything with your crypto, hardly anything until 2017 when Ethereum started hit it became like the token of value that people would do raises with. So yeah, a lot of companies, it's called the ICO boom in 2017. So there was a lot of companies that started to do fundraising for different projects. And I think when I sold some Bitcoin for Ethereum, it wasn't too expensive at the time. I had a bunch of Ethereum, and so yeah, I invested into a few ICOs. So which is called initial coin offering. So the thing is, before ICOs, is that if you wanted to invest into a company, you literally had to be what would you call it? Like a financial institution, or you had to be regulated, have a lot of money to do that. But then when the ICO boom came out, it didn't matter; anyone could get in and have the opportunity. So yeah, one of the three interoperability projects I invested in early was Icon Foundation, One Chain, and Aeon. And the reason why I went into those is that they're talking about let's create crypto companies where they can all interconnect with each other and they can build a platform. So Icon was around about 11 cents at the time, ran to around about $12. I put $5,000 into that, so that turned into around about close to $500,000 when I sold it between $8 and $12. And then one chain, I think it was 18 cents, can't remember what it was, but that ran to around about $8. And so when I'm talking in dollars, I always talk in USD dollars. So I'm from New Zealand, but I always talk in USD. And so yeah, ended up making close to about maybe $2 million at the time. I thought I was smarter than the rest at the time because it didn't matter where you put your money. There was other projects. You're just making returns from like, you double it 2x to up to 100x. So I came close to making about $2 million, and I probably blew 1.8 million. So I was left with $200,000. It was great learning, and I started investing into projects in the bear markets, which is 2018 to 2019. It was really good learning.
So the money that you kind of blew, was that just picking bad projects and not
Yeah, it,
taking
it
profits?
was. It wasn't just It was picking some bad projects, and not only picking bad projects, but holding hodl was the term back then.
Mm.
Hodl to the moon. You hold it to 95% retracement, and it just went down and down and down and down. So yeah, it was a bit of both. But then through that time, I think a lot of people left the crypto market, and that's when I still believed in it. I believed in the future. Crypto will be one of the probably the fastest growing technology advancements in history. And so I stayed, and I joined a lot of different communities, and I invested into a few others, and it did extremely well over the 2020, 2021.
Yep. And so when did you jump into NFTs? Was
Yeah,
that
so I jumped into
2023?
NFTs. It could have been early 2020 more. I was buying more towards the end of 2020. And in 2021, I mean, NFTs didn't start to take off, I think, to March 2021 or something like that. A lot of people started buying into them. But I always believe that the one thing that I do know is the extremely wealthy people in the world, when markets change or whatever they're doing, they invest in blue chip art. Like there's like Picasso, and there's so many different like artists and stuff like that, but there's blue chip art. But I always believe that we are now ground zero. We're at the very beginning stages of a new technology change, and with digital art. And I believe in 10 years from now, or it may be a little bit longer, but those that get in early now in the right projects will have extreme wealth in collecting digital art.
So what were some of the first NFTs you purchased?
Um, First, I jumped on. I started using Maker's Place, and I really liked a guy called Primal Cipher. He was creating like one of the first like cyberpunk type things, anonymous type crypto art. Yeah, there was Hackertail. It was pretty good. There's some things that they did with the guy called Jose Dalbo. Jose is a really famous artist that worked in the early days of like I think like Batman, Superman, Superwoman. So these are like legitimate artists, and I think he's about I think 89 years old now. He must be close to 90. But yeah, I was collecting his art in the early days, and I was using Maker's Place quite a lot. That's actually funny enough, people might hear the name Max Poker. I think it's an entity, but there's a guy behind it. But I mean, I was bidding on things, and as soon as I saw Max Poker back then, like I respect their collection. But
Oh, do you
man, I
mean
just like
Max?
I'm not touching it. The money was just flowing. It was crazy. Yeah,
Was it?
Max Stealth.
I
Sorry,
mean,
Max Stealth, not Max
yeah,
Poker,
yeah.
Max Stealth.
Yeah, you jump into Discord and Max Poker will be talking and everyone goes, "Are you Max Stealth? Sell me this fluff."
Yeah. No, it's Max Stealth. Sorry. Yeah. I chat with Max Poker quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you in fluff from Mint?
Yeah, so funny enough, I got into Flask because I had one of the guys on my Facebook of all places was commenting about how he didn't really believe in NFTs, and then Brooke Howard Smith, he's a guy that's quite famous here in New Zealand, and he commented, "Hey, look, NFTs are the future; they're going to do really well." And I was thinking, what the hell does Brooke Smith know about NFTs? So I quickly looked in and seen what he was doing, and he joined a company called Non Fungible Labs. They're associated with Central in New Zealand. I'm based in New Zealand. Central New Zealand raised about close to $100 million back in 2017, I think. They're a legitimate company. But then I had a look at, because I've been collecting NFTs for some time, I actually had a look at the digital art. And it was the first 3D digital art that actually had music in the background playing. And I thought, hey, there's something about this that definitely has huge potential. And then I looked into Jesse and Alex, and I saw some of Jesse's artwork that he'd done in the past. And so yeah, I went to do the mint, and it was delayed for 3 days. And then the wife, I said to her, it was happening on Saturday. It was meant to be at 11 a.m. So I asked her to take the kids out because I had to take them out for lunch. It didn't. And she came back at like, wow, it hadn't minted. It didn't start till almost 1 o'clock. She was screaming at me, and I was like, look, I've got to mint these. And I'd been into Gary Vee's project earlier on, so V Friends. So I sold one of his NFTs for around about, I think, 20 ETH, and so I put about, I think, 12 ETH into the midday, and then after that I bought about another 60 fluffs. So I had about 180 fluffs at one stage. Now I've sold off, taken some profits from that. I'm sitting around about 100 now.
Wow. So you're obviously still pretty bullish about the team overall. I mean, there's you see the Futureverse white paper come out recently, and what they're wanting to do is pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, the reason why I'm very bullish on Fluff World is they've, Central Valley, New Zealand raised over 100, I mean, close to $100 million New Zealand back in 2017, but they've been building, they know how to create tokens. They're a legitimate company behind it. They've been through the bear market from 2018-19. In Silo, which is another one that runs Seekers, they're all working sort of together. Silo is a company that they've had partnerships, I was mentioning before, with Amtel, Coca-Cola, so Australasia and UK. So back in 2020, you could actually use the Silo. A lot of people don't know this, but the Silo app is actually can be loaded with Bitcoin. You can go to any Coca-Cola vending machine here in New Zealand, and you can pay and tap. I think also overseas too, and you can pay with your Silo app. This is back in 2020. These are the people behind Seekers, and they're all coming together. So the great thing, and the reason why I'm extremely bullish, and I believe that Fluff World ecosystem will be blue chip, is because they've got legitimate companies behind them, not a couple of people in the garage building. They're creating partnerships, and they're developing, they're building, and they've already been through a bear market, and they know how to work through that. And so I think we're very fortunate that we're very, very early. It's still very under the radar, and there's some great opportunities in the Fluff World ecosystem for sure.
Yeah, well, there's the three McDonald brothers both all have three pretty epic projects going on, really, don't they?
Yeah, well, we've got Aaron. He probably got over 50 companies that that he oversees. Legitimate companies that can all be brought into the Fluff World ecosystem. You got David McDonald. I think he's the middle brother. He runs Altered State Machine, and his wife Carmen. She probably does a lot. I mean, she's amazing. She does a lot of work for them too. But they're creating artificial intelligence, so you can be in gaming and things, and you can have players running around. You can have a flourishing ecosystem where it's not dead when you go into Decentraland or Sandbox, where you actually have your users there. I think that's got significant potential. And then you got Jeffrey McDonald, the youngest brother, which I spoke to him, I think 2014. He said he'd retired. He's a tech genius. And I met his lovely wife too, Saber. This is at Long Room. We had when Fluff LA was going on, we hosted something in Auckland, and I bumped into them, and they are car enthusiasts, man. Like Saber and Jeff, the whole brothers, all three brothers are. But I mean, Jeff and Saber, they love cars in general. And Jeff is creating everything behind Atom Club, which it's so good to know that a founder is behind a project working on Atom, and all the cars and the development of it. But he's a car enthusiast. So the things that we're going to see that come into it are going to be phenomenal. It's just exciting, man. It's just really
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. It's going to be cool to see the real life club when that happens too, further down the track. Yeah. So, what would be like? What's kind of one of your big lessons learned? You talked about selling Icon on the way up, kind of thing. Like what?
I think the one of the best lessons that I've learned is always take profits, regardless. It doesn't matter how much you love a project. Never get too emotional in the project and keep holding it. Like if it increases in price, take your initial profit out, and then take some more along the way. And that way, if you've got your money there and it's all been taken out, you'll be less emotional. So it doesn't matter what the market does. If it goes higher, you feel good and like you really love that. But if it drops and goes down a lot, you're not emotional to sell because you've got your money out. And if you believe in it, it's easier to hold it long term. And so that's the thing now with all my NFT holdings. It's come from crypto investments that I've taken out. So even then I buy in the NFT industry, I've always taken out the profits. The same thing with crypto. And so it doesn't matter where the market moves. There's no panic for me to sell anything because I've always taken profits along the way. And that's what I learned from 2018 crash as this time round, is to do that along the way.
Yep, yep. So I guess that is great advice, but it's maybe a little more tricky for some of these new people coming in. I mean, if someone bought a fluff and they've got one fluff, it's not like a coin where you can just sell off, 25% of it. What would you do
Yeah.
in that
So
situation?
the thing is that with fluffs is that if you were new, a lot of people would have realized that if you held a fluff will give you an access to a mint of another project. And if you do that, sometimes it's worth, even though you mint it and you want to hold it, you sell it because you want to get your money back from that you originally put into the fluff. And so just what if the market pumps extremely fast, unless you've got something rare that you really want to keep, like a rare fluff, rare fur, or whatever it is. If the market pumps, then yeah, you've got to take into account. Don't invest the money that you can't afford to, and if you have, then yeah, use those opportunities with these free mints to start taking that money out. Once you've done that, then sort of like do your research, do your reading. Is it worth selling like a fluff or like a few party bears, whatever? Like it's one of those things you've really got to look at the market, go into OpenSea, go to recent sales, see what's been selling, look at the trends, find out what's happening. But yeah, you're right. It's a really hard thing to do when you've just invested into something and to know when to sell it and take your money out. So you've just it comes down to creating a plan, creating a buy plan and a sell plan. Really, really important. It doesn't matter what project it is. It's really important because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people say. If anyone says they're in it for the technology or they're in it because they believe in the ecosystem, they do, yes, but they're also doing it because they want to get a return on investment. So always remember that investment, look after yourself first, do that, and then do other things within the ecosystem to to continue to follow it and be part of it.
Yeah, that's good advice. Is there any other advice you'd give someone who is very new to this space, maybe looking to
Yep.
buy their first NFT or
Yep.
crypto token?
The number one advice that I give, and I tell everybody, is make sure you do as much research and stuff as you can. I mean, the best way to learn is by doing, but security is ensuring that you have a ledger or ensuring that, if you're jumping onto Discord, the thing with Discord is that you get, you can join on the servers and you know, you're in there and then you get this like email or your private message from someone that you think that that's part of the team, and then you click that link and you lose everything. These are the things that people are not aware of. Even if you have a ledger device and it's the most secure device and you click on a link that someone says, "Oh, look, we're going to help you out," and you accept it, they have access to the entire portfolio and they can drain you dry. So I think that's the one thing that the current crypto ecosystem lacks, is just security. Is showing people how to be very vigilant and be careful of, like it's very easy to get hacked.
Yep, yep. Security is a massive thing in this
Yep.
space. I saw a tweet the other day and it said, if you haven't been scammed in crypto or NFTs, it's probably because you got scammed when you were younger playing RuneScape or something similar.
Yeah. And look, I've been through it myself. Like there's a few times, like there's probably about 5 times I've done some things, and but I've done it in the early days. So now I'm well averse to, looking at, well, fingers crossed, right? Touch wood. Yeah, that I haven't clicked any wrong links or anything like that and been hacked. But yeah, you really need to. That's the most important thing because it can you have self custody of your own investments in this, and so you don't have a bank where you have insurance or anything like that. If your NFTs go or your crypto goes, it's gone. So yeah, just be very vigilant and yeah, learn as much as you can about looking after your own assets.
Yeah, yeah, and these scammers are getting a lot more experienced in it. They're taking over discords and promising surprise links, surprise mints, and announcement channels and stuff. So you've definitely got to stay on your game.
Yeah, I
What?
mean, I'm part of Maker's Place, and so I get these emails, and it's from Maker's Place, and you got an offer, and it's legitimate on the email. So I actually go into Maker's Place and see, is there an offer? I actually go into Maker's Place, not click on the link. But if I clicked on the link and put me through, I have access to my laptop. It's just these scammers now are getting, yeah, it's, you think you're getting a legitimate email, but if you click a link and it's wrong, so always go to the website to check if you have an offer on something. So even if you see like you get an offer on a fluff or a seeker or anything like that, or any NFT that you're collecting, make sure that you go to your OpenSea account and check on offers on the app. Don't click from your your laptop or even your phone if you're connected to MetaMask. Don't do that. I have a separate phone where there's no MetaMask anything on it, so if I click it doesn't matter as much. But yeah, and never save your passwords on any emails on your laptop. Write it down because eventually we're so early right now in this industry, and probably next 3 to 5 years, what you're collecting now is probably going to have significant worth, and you will be a target.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's good advice. What's coming up in the next few months, or what's in another project you've got your eye on?
Yeah, I've mentioned this before. One that a lot of people don't really know about, but it's called Montreal.ai. The guy Vincent behind it, he is a AI genius. He's probably one of the top leading AI um, sort of what do you call it? People in the world when it comes to creating AI. And so, yeah, he back in 2003, he created Montreal AI. When he was really young, he did degrees. He got his degrees on many different things. Within 3 months, 4 months. He's an absolute genius. He's got the Guinness Book of Record for the largest gemstone, I think, by a lot, and it's worth about $125 million. He's got plenty of them, but he used AI back in the end to find them, and it's all legitimate. You can look it up. He's hosted several AI summits with the top leading AI people around the world. So he's creating something and using NFTs to build AI nodes and agents that, if you think what Altered State Machine is creating, and it's going to be very impressive about in gaming and AI. Oh, Montreal AI is next level. It is the best, and in the future will be run by AI and making decisions and stuff like that. I mean, imagine if you have 1,000 people in one room and you give them the most complicated equation that they're all going to solve it, and AI could do it in milliseconds. This is what's going to happen probably, I reckon, about 3 to 5 years of advancement of AI, is that they will be doing a lot more jobs for us. So I'm really trying to get in behind a project that's building something for change, and AI will be the future of a lot of things. You see it gaming as well. You can see a lot of it starting to happen now.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it's kind of scary, but it kind of leads on to my next question. What do you see the space in NFTs and metaverse kind of space in 3 to 5 years? I mean, AI could be taking our jobs.
Yeah, I think AI can be taking your jobs, but you can also be managing those AIs. So, AI is just a software. And yes, they will take over different things, but things will change. The younger generation, you got them on Roblox, Fortnite. They're all gamers. They're all, my son, he doesn't, I go, do you want some new shoes or whatever it may be? And he's like, nah, I just want some money so he can buy some wearables on Fortnite. And he doesn't even know them. That's so the encouraging thing is Fortnite makes, can't remember, you have to Google it. They make in wearables alone, and Fortnite, the company behind it, own it, turn over about $1.2 billion. Wearables, it might be even higher than that. So the future of the metaverse, so the open metaverse, will be gaming on your tablets, virtual reality, or I think augmented reality are probably even more popular. But wearables will be very, very, I think NFT wearables that have the network effect and have a great brand behind them that you can actually buy and sell and trade will be a huge industry in the NFT space. And I think the way it's going is the metaverse. There'll be a lot of games, but it'll probably be subscription where you pay an annual sort of fee, but then you can probably create your own wearables or different things, and people will trade, buy, and sell them. It will be huge because the younger generation, this is what they're doing. So yeah, I think there's going to be advertising. I mean, money flows where traffic goes. So I believe, yeah, 5 years from now, we're going to see a whole immersive different industry in the metaverse. You're seeing Facebook do it. Soon you'll see Instagram probably doing wearable, selling things on there. Apple, they'll be doing things with the augmented reality glasses, and that you'll be buying and selling different things. So it's going to be huge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, with Fortnite, the if the game ends, all of these in-game wearables are worthless. So if it's an NFT where you can kind of port it between worlds or games, that's pretty epic. And I guess the other part there is the play to earn side of things is probably going to pop up a bit more. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Platinum is going to be a huge factor. I think a lot of in as I think we've learned from the during COVID and stuff like that, you saw Axie Infinity that did quite well, even though it's not doing as well now. You got a glimpse into seeing where people are attracted to in playing and earning crypto or whatever it may be, and trading in that, and making like life changing sort of money, especially in third world countries. Fluff World, I think, what they're doing and creating partnerships. Imagine if you can you had the first Elvis Presley NFT, or Muhammad Ali, he had his first sort of boxing there, and you were there and you had the ticket, and it's like an NFT. Right now, we're in the ground zero in the NFT industry. The games that are building, there's going to be some of them that come out of this that will be blue chip during this bear market we're going to have probably for the next year or so. And so having those opportunities to be in early is going to be significant. And I think what Fluff World are doing, I think the partnerships that they're making, the way they're developing in the whole ecosystem, I think there's a huge opportunity there.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Any other departing remarks, the market conditions, just the NFTs, anything?
Yeah, I think the Fed this morning, Joe Powell, he just mentioned basis points gone up by 0.75%. That's the highest it's been. So we're going to see, I've read a thing from BlackRock as well. The market is going to get very, very messy. I know a lot of people want to think that Bitcoin is a hedge against the current stock exchange, but it's not at the moment. It sort of flows the same way it's going there at the moment. So what we're going to see is we're probably going to see the market turn down a bit more. Don't be afraid of that. Now's the time to really get involved and find out the projects that are building. Set a plan together, cost average in, maybe if it's weekly or monthly, not too much, and just buy a little bit. This is not financial advice, but just buy a little bit each week, each month, and just keep putting it aside, because when the next bull run comes, which is I think it'll probably be around about 2024, before the next Bitcoin halving, you can do extremely well. And I know this from previous experience, so I'm just trying to share what I do, make a plan, always take profits. When the market runs, take some profits.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think those are really good points. And yeah, as you pointed out, this isn't financial advice. This is kind of just sharing some learnings, and we definitely encourage anyone watching to make sure that you are doing your research, that you're looking into these projects and buying or investing wisely, and also making sure that your investments are secure with the hardware wallet. And you're not doing anything silly there. But yeah, no, I think that is some awesome points.
Yeah, and find communities that you really enjoy, a project that you really enjoy, or an NFT project you really enjoy. Jump in, join the community, because at the end of the day, the journey is much better together. The most successful projects will be those that have the biggest network effects. And because we're very, very early, you're in ground zero. So you're very fortunate. So don't give up. Don't be disheartened. The market goes down. You might feel like you lost some money, or but things will change. So just use the time to learn, build, collect slowly if you can, and things will turn out okay.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. The community is definitely what pulled me into the fluff world in the first place. I just wish I got in a bit earlier, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think we better wrap things up there. But it's been awesome having you on today, Jason. Hearing a bit about what goes on in your world and hearing some advice from you. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Josh, and I love what you're doing. So yeah, keep it up, man. It's fantastic, and thanks for giving me your time today. Appreciate it.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.